Okay, here's a quick video of the status of the car as it sits. The car's dirty. It's been sitting through a couple snowstorms at the moment. Just going around kind of looking at any kind of body damage or anything like that. Here's both the bumper lights. Bumper lights are actually off of a first-gen MR2, so they're a little bit different, but they're wired and working. Fog lamps are not wired, but they are bolted up. They just need a loom and a switch. Tires are good. They probably got about half the tread life, maybe a little bit less. Body on this side of the car is pretty good. A little bit of rust right here in the quarter. These stupid fender liners always end up bringing a little bit of rust. So you can see there's some right there. The only problem is right here underneath the door, which could be easily repaired or covered with side skirts. Door opens pretty good. Door frame's in good shape. Door itself is in good shape. A little wear on the door card. Moving around, you can kind of see the door closed as well here. Haven't replaced any hinges or anything. It's got one window visor. The other side has been missing, but this does have one Toyota window visor still. A little bit of surface rust here on the sunroof. It's been treated, but you can see the treatment starting to wear off. So it does need to be properly fixed, but there's no solid rust. It's just surface rust there. The sunroof does work. Hatch has the same kind of story here with the surface rust. It was treated, but it's starting to come through again. No issues back here. Tiny spots of like little paint chips and stuff like that. There is underneath of the hatch, there's a little bit of rust underneath of here. Most of these hatches completely rot out all the way around, and a lot of them will rust underneath of here, but this one's actually in pretty good shape. Someone at some point, I guess, had a bent or a dent here in the quarter panel, and it's been mostly pulled out. It's mostly straight. For it to be perfect, it would just need a little bit of a little bit of sanding, a little bit of, not even a whole lot, but just a slight maybe amount of Bondo, or it could probably be smoothed back over. You can see it's, compared to the other side, it's really not that bad. It's kind of halfway been fixed, but not me. I didn't fix it. Same kind of just little surface fender rust right here. A little bit more here, but again, it's not completely rotted through yet, so it's definitely treatable. A little bit of surface here, but it's been treated. That one's actually holding. No other door rust. These front fenders at one point were completely rusted through. Pretty much this whole bottom half was gone. Half the fender was gone. So these are good solid fenders pulled off another car. They have been painted. Not paint mash, but they have been painted. Same thing here. Good fenders. Videos of that are up on the website. Trying to think of anything exterior. I think that's it. So we'll look inside real quick. There's the roof line, windows. So here's the interior. This door card hasn't been put back on since I bought the car. Same kind of wear here from the missing the little handle on both sides. Actually, I do have this trim. I just got to find it. It actually may be loose in the car right now. I do have the window handle here. It's an aftermarket like AutoZone window handle. For some reason, it keeps popping off. So I've got it in the pocket for now. Just try to figure out why the clip isn't staying on. The window motor, or the window regulator, was replaced, but it needs slight modification because it will roll up and down just fine. But if you take off this door card, which is really easy, you'll see one of the brackets right here is just ever so slightly off. It was like too short. I guess the part number was close but not perfect. So honestly, it just needs one hole drilled through, basically just to secure that bracket, and then the window stays in the frame perfectly. But it used to not roll up or down. It used to get stuck. Steering wheel can stay. The original steering wheel was like pretty rotten out. All the rubber was gone. It just felt horrible. So this is just a Grant steering wheel. It's pretty solid. It's not an eBay one. It's an older Grant. The horn does work. I just don't have a horn button for this wheel anymore. It's long since been gone. Original carpet's in fairly good shape for 30 years. No floor mats or anything like that. I haven't done any cleaning up with this car for a little bit, so it's kind of dusty. But it does get driven. It's just been kind of cold. Right now it's got a bunch of cardboard in it because I'm using this like a pickup truck, so I can take stuff to the recycling plant. The seats are first gen MR2 seats. They're the later model MR2 seats, so they're the nicer ones. They are missing the knobs, but they do have the bolster and the lumbar support, and these can stay in there. Again, the original seats were trashed because they were roached as well. A little bit of wear here. You can see from some sun baking on this panel, and I believe the panel on the other side as well. That's pretty typical 30-year-old car kind of stuff for the sun. Those are pretty easily replaced. We'll go ahead and crank this up so it's whatever 30 whatever degrees out today, and it's been a few days since it's been cranked, and I haven't prepped it up now, so we'll crank it up and see what happens. No choke on this thing. Cranks up, no problem. You can hear the idle smooth for a first crank up. No knocks, no ticks in the engine. The valve train is quiet. No other kind of funky noises. A little bit of leaking from probably the valve cover gasket. I think the distributor needs an O-ring. There's I've cleaned it up a little bit, but you can still see a little bit right in here. There's a little bit of oil, so I think the O-ring on this needs to be replaced. No other leaks or drips. Just a slight oil leak from that kind of stuff there. I don't want to rev it up too high when it's cold. The heat does work. For some reason, something happened recently where you can see the fan there. Fan is good. AC hasn't worked for a long time. That's probably something that could be, I haven't had the compressor checked, but it could just be refitted and sealed up with R134 and some new PAG oil, and that will probably work. But for some reason, something behind here, this was working where you could get, you know, cooler ambient air or definitely warm heat, and that worked really well. And then I think something, when I put this CD player in, when I put it back in, something has got the cable bound up behind. So I may fix it, or it may just come this way, but this will slide. When it does slide over, it does give heat. It's just something that needs to be fixed from back here where the cable's just binding. Because right now it's kind of stuck in the middle where it was left, and the cable won't really move left too smoothly, and it doesn't move all the way right. Like, it doesn't move the way these do. So that just needs to be adjusted. But the heat does work. AC could be fixed. I do have aftermarket head unit in here. I think the door, the front speakers might have been replaced. The rear does have 6x9s in boxes, which will come with the car because I removed the rear speakers otherwise, so I'll bring those in. It is Bluetooth with a microphone, which does work if you're into all that. The sunroof, oh, here's anti-theft device right here. I think the tumblers just need to be unstuck. Key does open the doors though. The button's missing for the sunroof, but it does work. You just push the little button inside. Works really well, actually. No issues with the motion. Light works. This needs a bulb. You can get the cover on eBay. I usually just, these go out in every single Toyota I've ever had that are old like this. So I usually just buy, you can buy this whole thing brand new for like 20 or 30 bucks on eBay. I'm pretty sure Toyota still sells this, and it comes as a whole light assembly because these get, you know, the plastic gets dry and the plastic's all dirty. So you just end up replacing it, and then it's like it never was old. It just plugs right in. So you can see, you know, idle smooth. See, it's a little warmed up. Oil pressure looks good as well. It just recently had an oil change. The rusted muffler was removed. Still has the stock exhaust otherwise. Still has all the EGR, all the cats that this thing came with to begin with. All that stuff is still here. So this car is pretty much a bone stock car. Suspension was replaced. One wheel bearing was replaced. I still need to replace the other front one. I do have the part. Still have spark plugs, new spark plugs that need to go in the car. I don't think it really needs it, but I got them for a good deal, so I just figured I'd buy them at that time so those can go in the car. It's one of those things I just, you know, it takes 20 minutes to do. I just haven't done yet. So yeah, that's the car. I mean, it drives really well. Minus one wheel bearing, which does need to be replaced. It's just the outer bearing, which is easy to remove. Again, I have it. It's just been too cold to do it. But other than that, it's in good shape. The rear diff, those fluids have been changed. I had the rear diff flushed and filled back up, and I also had the same thing done with the transmission. Oil change was done recently. Right before I did the oil change, I did a full seafoam treatment. So I did it through the intake, through the fuel, and through the crankcase. Then ran that for a couple hundred miles, then changed the oil. And honestly, the carburetor runs perfectly smooth, revs up fine, it doesn't hang up anywhere. Cranks it fine, obviously in the cold, even though there's no choke with it. Maybe there's some sort of automatic choke, but no manual choke. So no issues there. All the lights work. I went through recently, including all the signals, all the corner lights there, all those work. So I mean, this is a fully functioning driving car. It's been to Columbia twice. It's been to Raleigh, North Carolina twice from Asheville, or I'm sorry, Raleigh once. It's been all over the place. Just I drive around just for fun. Drive around for work. I've got obviously some other projects and some other cars, so I'm in no short supply of wheels here. These wheels can come with the car, or I've got the original 13-inch Toyota wheels that are aluminum. They are kind of hard to find, but I do have those. They just don't have good tires, so it's the buyer's choice. These are usually the ones people want, so I'll keep them with it since they're on the car now. It's got, you know, aftermarket shift knob because I'm a racer. No, really, it was just like $2 at AutoZone, so why not? It happened to match. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Honestly, this car is great. If it doesn't, I mean, dashboard's cracked, but you know, it's pretty normal. The dashboard is, I mean, the rest of the interior is here. This was missing, didn't come with the car, so I replaced it because I'm OCD like that. This was not with the car, so I just went out and got one. I'm not sure if it works, but I just had to have it. You know, even this is here. I use it as a cup holder because these cars don't have them. But yeah, that's here. Handbrake works. Transmission shifts smooth. Car gets mid-20s to upper 20s, depending on if you're doing, you know, 70 or less. Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything else. So if you have any questions, let me know.